I am going to wear my earbuds even though they're not the best because I cannot risk making a video where y'all guys cannot hear me. I'm only making this video, it's quite late at night, it's about 12 a.m. midnight of course, and I'm making this video because I'm being misunderstood. I decided to make this video quite a long time ago, let's say a week or something, but I just didn't have enough time, wasn't, free enough to think and make up thoughts in my head just and speak. So last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, I don't remember, we had a little argument in class. It was okay, it started like this. The teacher, we were writing down things, and she was like, hey, we're gonna jump into production orale, right? And as I'm writing down something, she gives us some papers and she asks us one question. Do you all think unconditional love exists? And I laugh at the question because it's weird that people still think that unconditional love exists when love is clearly a transactional or reciprocative emotion. It's a get and give relationship, emotion, or whatever. It's a get and give emotion. It's not something that you can just feel for absolutely like no reason. Things like hatred, it could be not reciprocational. You know what I mean? Okay, that's a very stupid idea. Cut. I just tried to make up an idea and it was so bad. But anyways, um, so yeah, I left that question and I said, hey, no, it does not exist. And she's like, even parental love? And I was like, yeah, it does not exist. Doesn't matter what kind of love. It has to be reciprocational. There has to be a condition for that love to be there. And I had to bring up some evidences, of course, and one of the evidences was the health argument that a parent can only love a child if they are healthy enough. And one reason that we can see that is because parents might even murder their children if they're not healthy enough. And here started like this was the plot twist to everything. This switched the debate, the argument to a whole another direction. It started about unconditional love, and then we started talking about filicide and infanticide. Now, filicide or infanticide, okay, let's speak of filicide. Filicide is the act of murdering of a parent, murdering their own child for whatever reasons. I think there are 5 types of filicide. No, not 5 types, there are 5 motives. There's the unwanted child, altruism, psychos, I don't, there's a lot, okay, I'm not gonna dig into that. However, we started talking about filicide, right? And I was like, hey, parents do commit suicide sometimes, filicide sometimes. They do murder their children. And if they don't murder their children, they abandon them. And this got the whole class furious, had to go, the whole class get chaotic, get angry, let's say, at me or something. But the only reason they were like that is because they were misunderstanding me. They did not get my point. I was not talking about how parents should murder their children if they're not healthy, but rather the fact that they do, or it's not an ideal thing to do. It's not the best thing to do. It's just something that people do. This whole idea that people do things that they should not be doing is really just whatever. Because, for example, this is a very simple and stupid example. We tell people that we should not lie, yet everybody lies, right? We should tell people that we should not be doing things, yet we do things. Smokers will tell you that you should not smoke and smoking is bad, yet light up a cigarette 2 seconds after that. People talk about idealism, talk about the perfectionism, and things that they should be doing, the ideal, the good, the bad, and still do things based on their desires because that's what human nature is. It's following your desires. Um, as I'm speaking about the topic, that hey, actually, this is seen in animals. We see infanticide in animals, a let's say, for example, a cat might murder its own offspring if they're not healthy enough, if there is not enough resources, if there being a reliability, if there being kind of like a reliability and they're causing reliability. Yeah, if they're being too reliable, if they're causing a liability. Sorry, mixed up some words. This is a motive for the cat or the animal in general to murder its own offspring. We see this in cats, we can see this in sheep, we can see this in all kinds of animals, doesn't matter. We can see this in lions, tigers, doesn't matter. And this applies to humans too, because humans, at the end of the day, no matter what, are animals. We all have the same instincts, we all have the same desires, we all want the same thing as animals do. We're no different. The only thing we're different that we have is morals. We have a mind, right? And we can think, we have morals, we have values, we have laws, things that makes us liable to doing whatever we want to do. We grow up with these morals. We are born into different morals depending on different societies, and these things shape our personalities and shape our decision making in the future. Anyways, as I'm making up my argument, hey, parents do murder their children if they are not healthy, or maybe they abandon them. Guess what? Because they have morals, or maybe they are scared of society, maybe they are scared of the law, maybe they are scared of going to jail, they're scared of so many other things, and that's why they might just abandon the child, either directly or just passively. For example, because a child being abandoned is not necessarily a child being thrown at the bins or a child being left at a hospital or close to a, you know, close to garbage or something. It could be a child that is sent to school at a very young age. It could be a child that is put in kindergarten at a very, very young age, could be the age of 1. That's a abandoned child. It could be a child that is given to another family member to be raised. That is an abandoned child. It could be a child that is being abandoned while the parent is still present. It could be a child that is being thrown, a child that is being mistreated. All of these are, I wouldn't say forms of filicide because I just can't change terms. You know, this is a scientific term. I can't make up new things, but it is the closest we get to incest, to filicide, if there was no morals. Like, these are things that only morals are, you know, put in limit to. If there were no morals, there was no values, there was no law, these things would instantly turn into murder. Abandonment, passively or directly, would turn into murder, genuinely. There's no other, there's no other factor that makes these things. Okay, you'll get it. I don't have to explain it furthermore. But anyways, at some point, the class gets too furious at me. I have to stand up. Genuinely, I stood. I was like, "Hey, teacher, can I just stand up?" Because I sit in front of the class in the front row, and the only thing I see is the board. I'm facing the board, and I have to like turn this way and turn the other way to like make my arguments. And it was very painful. I was so uncomfortable, and I couldn't really share my opinions with force. So I had to like stand up and face the class, because if you face people, there is literally nothing they can do. Like, you're facing them with your bare ideas, your raw ideas, and they're being hit with like the most insane strikes, and they just don't get it. Like, what is this guy saying? I get why they were thinking this is weird, but I was just exposing natural human behavior. In nature, there is no bad nor good. There is no law, there is no morals, there is no you should do this or should not do this. An animal does not comprehend the idea of bad and good. An animal has only one way of seeing things. We see things based on a moral background. For example, if you go out and see someone being robbed, you're thinking, hey, this is bad. But an animal will never think, hey, this is bad. An animal will just start following that other animal if they robbed something of them, let's say, and they would not even think about it. They would just do things because the only thing that they follow is their instincts. Now, humans do have instincts, but they have morals that set limits to those instincts. Um, One argument that I was given, which is not even an argument because, yeah, a class of 20 people could not give one single argument why humans do not commit filicide, or a sane human cannot commit filicide, which was humans are not animals. Okay, first of all, they are. First of all, you are an animal. You can't just deny that, okay? And second thing, what makes a human different from an animal? Okay, why am I repeating thoughts? This video is genuinely so bad, bro. But yeah, this is one argument that was given. Second argument, there is no sane human that would commit those things. Of course, because what you view as sane is a human that would do things that you think are morally good. Again, we are not talking about morals in this discussion. We are talking about nature. We're talking about a situation where there's no bad, no good, man. There is nothing, you can't evaluate the situation or the act itself of filicide, because what I'm talking about is what humans do. Sure, it is bad. It is bad to commit filicide. But it doesn't matter, man. Like, people do commit filicide. Like, there's bigger fish to fry that think if it's bad or good. I mean, humans do. Would I commit filicide? Probably not. Not because I don't want to. If I was given, like, a disabled child, I wouldn't want to raise that. I wouldn't want to raise him or her. Like, genuinely, why would I sit a liability to my life just because I have to be, like, morally, I don't know, whatever. But because there's laws, there's morals, there's a society that I'm living in that will judge me for doing that thing, I probably would not murder that child. I might do other things, I don't know. Like, I don't know, I'm not yet in that situation, and I will see what I will do. If I'm ever given a disabled child, I will see what I can do with that. But either way, a class of 20 people, as I said, could not give me one single argument. So I was still trying to convince them that, hey, you guys are not saying anything. One girl was like, bro, this one girl was like, why did your father not abandon you? I was like, bro, I'm not disabled. Like, do I look disabled? Sure, some people might think that I'm disabled. Of course, you'll hate me. But no, I was born healthy. Thank God, not that healthy, but healthy enough not to be abandoned, I guess, or not to be murdered. I don't know, what were the arguments even? Yeah, there was an argument that was like, yeah, the teacher gave me this one argument, and I think, I don't think it's that stupid. But I think if we're evaluating the situation morally, then we should also evaluate this anecdote morally. Um, she gave me an anecdote of a family that decided to keep their child, an adult, kind of 40s old, some successful kind of man, that was diagnosed with brain cancer or something, like something very horrible. The guy would start like screaming, having seizures. The guy would start losing his mind from time to time, and they were like, hey, the hospital was like, hey, do you want to just murder this guy? And they were like, no, we're gonna keep him, and they decided to keep him. Again, if you're gonna evaluate the situation morally, I'm gonna hit you with the same logic. Is this thing not so selfish? Is it not so selfish to keep someone who is clearly, like, clearly, clearly being tortured, keeping them alive, just for you to look at them? That is what came of the teacher's mouth, of course, I'm not making things up. Whatever. This is genuinely what the teacher said. She said that they only kept the child because they wanted to, just they wanted to have his presence, they wanted to look at him. That's what they wanted, like nothing further. It's this sound, bro. Anyways, oh my god, there's something. Someone is whistling. I don't know if it's like my earbuds or anything, but I'm hearing crazy sounds. It's the demons of the filicide coming to me. They're coming. But yeah, there's a lot to unpack in that, interaction with my whole class. One thing is, I don't think I would murder my child. Not because I wouldn't want to, but, you know, I'm not the very most empathic person ever. Some would even say that I'm pretty insensitive, but I think that if it comes to my children, this is very hypothetical, of course, nothing really practical, it's all theories. If I were given a child, like if it was my child that came from me, and of course another person, I don't think no matter what happens, I will murder that child. I believe that deep down, in my natural instincts, I would want to, I would desire to, but practically, I wouldn't. And as much of a liability would bring to my life, I'd still raise that child, like no matter what. But yeah, this topic kind of took from my critical thinking capacity a lot these 2 weeks because I've been thinking about it. Especially the first week, bro. I made a TikTok about it. And I was like, hey, yo, you're such morons, you couldn't make an argument. I was like angry because people still could not argue with me in what I was saying. I was arguing about natural human behavior and they were arguing about morals. No, these are two different topics. Like, morally is this, and naturally is this. And that was not what I'm talking about. I was not talking about morals, I was talking about nature. And nature is not really this beautiful place where there's. Oh, yeah. This one girl, she was like, you've never been put in that situation. Like, you've never been in love that much for you to say if you would murder that person or that child or not. I was like, hey, you know that we're not living in a Disney movie. You know that the world is not full of rainbows and sunshines and birds singing. It's actually a very horrible place to be. And if you go out right now, you might see horrible things. And this is what nature is about. I have horrible things happen to me all the time. I do complain about them, but at the end of the day, I sit with myself and be like, hey, this actually should happen because it's nature. You can't stop natural force. Some things should happen. Some things we don't really want to happen. C'est la vie, ooh la 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 la. I want to end this video because there isn't much more to say. I also want to make a lot of videos because I have a lot of topics to speak on. Firside, Moroccan teenagers and suicide. This is a topic that I want to make a video about, definitely. Photography, because I've been into it a lot of these days. I've been taking lots of pictures, lots of stuff. But yeah, I guess this is it. Quite a long video full of yap and bullshit, but I hope you guys like it. Kisses.